Imagine this. You're sitting across the table from a beautiful woman. The date is going better than expected. The conversation flows, laughter fills the space between you, and there's that rare spark in the air that makes you wonder, could this actually be something real? You feel comfortable, confident, even safe. So you let your guard down. You tell her something personal, something about your past, your struggles, your regrets, thinking you're being honest, even vulnerable. But then, something shifts. Her smile fades just a little. The warmth in her eyes cools. The energy drops. She finishes her drink early, says it was nice meeting you. And by the time you get home, she's already disappeared. No call, no text, nothing. And you sit there thinking, what did I say wrong? Here's the uncomfortable truth most men don't realize until it's too late. There are certain things about yourself, certain secrets, stories, or facts that you should never share with a woman. At least not in the early stages. Not because you're hiding something, not because you're dishonest, but because timing matters, context matters, perception matters even more. You see, when you reveal too much too soon, especially the wrong kind of things, you're not creating closeness. You're introducing doubt, and once that seed of doubt is planted in her mind, it doesn't matter how great the connection felt 5 minutes ago. That version of you she was attracted to, it's already been replaced by someone a little less confident, a little less secure, a little less masculine. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 things you must keep to yourself if you want to maintain her attraction, earn her respect, and build something that's actually worth keeping. These aren't lies. They're strategic silences, and they can make all the difference between becoming unforgettable or getting ghosted. Sound fair enough? Number 1, your body count. Let's start with the one most men mess up, and often, they don't even realize it until the damage is already done. You're deep in conversation. She leans forward and casually asks, so, how many women have you been with? It sounds innocent enough, maybe even flirtatious. And you think, hey, I'll just be honest. Why not? So you tell her. Maybe you say 3, hoping it sounds respectable. Or maybe it's more like 15, and you throw in a laugh to play it off. Either way, big mistake. Because no matter what number you say, it will trigger something inside her mind that you can't control. If the number is low, she'll wonder, why so little? Is he inexperienced? Not attractive to other women? Am I going to have to teach him everything? But if the number is high, the thoughts shift. Is he a player? Am I just another one? Can he even commit? How many of those girls meant nothing? Now, most women won't say any of this out loud. They'll smile, nod, pretend they're cool with it. But in her mind, she's doing math, drawing conclusions, comparing herself, and wondering where she fits in your story. And worst of all, she might start feeling like she's competing with ghosts. The truth is, women are emotional, visual, and deeply self-aware. When you bring up your sexual past, you force her into a mental space of comparison. She starts imagining you with those other women, even if she doesn't want to. That's not attraction. That's mental torture. And if her own experience is more limited, that's where the insecurities really creep in. Does he wish I were more experienced? Is he judging me? Can I measure up? Here's what most men don't get. Your body count is not just a number, it's a mirror. And she'll use it to reflect all of her doubts, fears, and assumptions about you. And about herself. So what do you do when she asks? You don't lie, but you don't give her ammunition either. Instead, shift the focus. Say something like, I've had experiences that taught me exactly what I'm looking for, and I'm not interested in repeating the past. I'm focused on building something meaningful now. It's mature, it's present, and it keeps the mystery alive. Because if there's one thing that keeps a woman intrigued, it's the feeling that there's more to discover about you. And not everything is up for grabs on the first few dates. So remember, don't overshare. Don't confess. And for the love of attraction, keep your past where it belongs. In the past. Number 2, your regrets and failures. Now let's talk about something that feels noble on the surface, but can quietly destroy the way she sees you. I'm talking about your deepest regrets and biggest failures. You might think, but being open about my struggles shows maturity, right? Or, I want her to know the real me, not just the highlights. And while those intentions are good, the timing is absolutely terrible. You see, when you start revealing the darkest chapters of your story too early, especially in a romantic setting, you're not building trust. You're building doubt. Doubt about your direction. Doubt about your emotional stability. Doubt about whether you're the kind of man who learns and grows, or the kind who's still stuck in the past. Let's say you tell her about a failed business that left you broke, or a dream that collapsed and wrecked your confidence, or a time you hurt someone you loved and still carry guilt about it. All of those things might be true. They might even be important parts of who you are. But to her, in the early stages, they're emotional red flags. Why? Because she hasn't earned the right to hold your burdens yet. And without a strong emotional foundation, all she sees is a man who's still healing, still unsure, still recovering. She came on the date to meet a strong, forward-moving version of you, not a broken-down version dragging emotional baggage behind him. Now don't get me wrong, you're allowed to have regrets. You're human. But if you don't present them correctly, they'll come off as weakness instead of wisdom. So how do you talk about failure without killing the vibe? Simple. You reframe. Instead of saying, "I started a business that failed and it ruined me financially," say, "My first business taught me a lot about managing risk, and I've used those lessons to build something more sustainable now." Do you hear the difference? One sounds defeated. The other sounds seasoned. Women aren't looking for perfect men. They're looking for resilient men, men who bend, but don't break. Men who learn, adapt, and lead. So if you must mention a past failure, keep it brief. Keep it focused on the lesson. And above all, keep it rooted in progress, not pity. Because at the end of the day, your past doesn't define you. But the way you talk about it, that defines how she sees you. Number 3, your weaknesses. This one might surprise you, especially if you've bought into the modern idea that vulnerability equals strength. And to some extent, that's true. But only in the right context. Too many men make the mistake of sharing their emotional wounds far too early, thinking it will make them more relatable or authentic. And in theory, that sounds admirable. But in reality, it's often a fast track to losing her respect. Think about it. When you're just getting to know someone, what kind of impression are you trying to make? Are you showing her the man who leads his life with confidence and vision? Or are you asking for her reassurance, approval, or validation without even realizing it? Let's say you open up about feeling inadequate in your career, or about how you sometimes question your self-worth, or how your last relationship left you emotionally drained. You may think you're being real, but what she hears is, "This man doesn't believe in himself. And if he doesn't, why should I?" In her subconscious mind, questions begin to form. Can I rely on him when things get tough? Will he protect me emotionally? Or will he collapse when life gets hard? You're planting seeds of doubt. And once planted, they grow silently. You might still think the date is going well, but in her mind, the pedestal you were on is slowly crumbling. Here's a better way to approach it. Show your strength through action and direction, not emotional exposure. If you're going through a tough time, focus on how you're dealing with it. Instead of saying, "I feel stuck in my job and I'm not sure what to do," say, "I'm currently working on positioning myself for better opportunities. I have a plan I'm really excited about." That small shift changes everything. You're still being honest, but you're framing yourself as a man with vision and momentum. And that's attractive. Look, you don't need to fake perfection. But understand this, respect comes before vulnerability. If she hasn't yet seen the strong side of you, the grounded, calm, capable man, she's not ready to see the raw version. Vulnerability is a gift. You don't give it away freely to someone who hasn't earned it yet. So the next time you're tempted to open up too soon about your insecurities, pause. Ask yourself, am I sharing this to connect? Or am I quietly asking her to fix me? Because women don't fall for men who need fixing. They fall for men who fix themselves. 4. Your past relationships in detail. At first glance, talking about your ex might seem harmless. You might even think it shows maturity, that you're emotionally intelligent, self-aware, and not afraid to talk about the past. But here's the truth most men overlook. Every detail you share about your past relationship becomes a ghost in her mind. And ghosts don't attract, they haunt. The moment you start describing your ex, what she was like, what went wrong, how long you were together, how the relationship ended, you're not just opening up. You're pulling your current date into a competition she never asked for. Let's say you casually mention how your ex was incredibly supportive during hard times. Or you let slip that the physical chemistry was intense. Or worse, you talk about how badly she hurt you and how it shattered your trust. Here's what she hears. He still thinks about her. He's comparing me. He hasn't moved on. He's got trust issues I'll have to deal with later. Even if your words are neutral, even if you're just being honest, the emotional weight behind them shifts her focus away from building something new and into analyzing your emotional baggage. And let's be real, no woman wants to feel like a therapist, a rebound, or a replacement. She wants to feel chosen, special, like the woman who inspires you to move forward, not the one who reminds you of what went wrong. This doesn't mean you lie or pretend your past never happened. It means you manage the energy of what you reveal. If she asks, "So what happened with your last relationship?" don't go into a 15-minute play-by-play of the emotional roller coaster. Keep it light. Keep it brief. Try something like, "We wanted different things in the end, but it helped me understand what kind of connection I truly value." That's it. No names. No drama. No emotional bloodbath. Just closure with a forward-looking mindset. Because here's a rule most high-value men live by. You never speak negatively about someone you once loved. It shows class, control, and maturity. 3 things that never go out of style. So stop turning your new date into your old diary. Let the past stay in the past, and give her something worth investing in right now. Number 5, your financial struggles. Now let's talk about one of the most sensitive, misunderstood, and potentially destructive topics you could bring up in the early stages of dating, your financial situation. Look, let's be clear, you don't need to be rich. You don't need a yacht, a mansion, or 6 figures in the bank to attract a great woman. But what you do need, and what she's quietly scanning for, is a sense of stability, a sense of direction, a feeling that you're in control of your life, or at least moving toward it. That's why oversharing about your financial problems is one of the fastest ways to kill attraction. Imagine you're sitting across from her, and you say something like, "Honestly, I'm drowning in debt. Work's been slow, and I'm just trying to survive right now." To you, that might sound honest, even courageous. But to her, it sounds like stress, like burden, like risk. You may think she'll empathize. You may think it makes you relatable. But remember this, she's not your therapist. She's not your mother. And she's definitely not your financial rescue plan. When you open up about your money problems too early, you're inviting her into chaos. And no healthy woman wants to sign up for chaos with a man she barely knows. She won't tell you this directly. She'll just smile politely and slowly disappear. And again, you'll wonder, what did I say? But deep down, she's asking herself, will I have to take care of him? Can he build a future with me, or will I be the one carrying everything? Is he in control of his life, or barely surviving it? And if she senses that you're overwhelmed by your problems, without a plan, it's game over. So what should you do if money is tight? Simple, focus on progress, not problems. Frame your situation as something you're actively managing, not something that's beating you down. Instead of saying, "I'm barely scraping by," try, "I've been really disciplined lately with saving and restructuring my finances. I'm working on some long-term goals, and it feels good to be in control again." That one sentence changes everything. It tells her you're aware, you're responsible, you're moving forward. That's what she wants to feel. Not that you have it all figured out, but that you're the kind of man who figures things out. Because attraction isn't just about looks or charm, it's about security, confidence, and direction. So don't use your date as a confession booth. Show her the man you're becoming, not the man who's still drowning in problems. And if you play it right, she'll want to be part of that journey. So here's the truth, gentlemen. In the early stages of a relationship, what you say matters. But what you choose not to say matters even more. Every time you open your mouth, you're either building attraction or chipping away at it. And while honesty is a virtue, timing is wisdom. The 5 things we just covered, your body count, your regrets and failures, your weaknesses, your past relationships, and your financial struggles, they're all real, human, and valid parts of your story. But they don't belong on the table when you're just getting to know a woman. Why? Because in the beginning, she's not falling for your past. She's falling for your presence, your energy, your confidence. She's scanning for signs of strength, leadership, and emotional stability. And if you unload too much too soon, even with the best intentions, you risk turning a potential connection into a quiet exit. But that doesn't mean you should lie. It means you filter. You lead with your strengths. You show her the man who's building something, not the man still stuck fixing himself. And when the foundation is strong enough, when trust has been earned, that's when your deeper truths can come out. And by then, she'll be ready to handle them with respect, not judgment. So if you've ever found yourself wondering why she pulled away, Why she stopped texting back. Why something just felt off after what seemed like a great moment of connection. Go back and ask yourself, did I give her something too heavy? Too soon? Because attraction isn't just about chemistry. It's about mystery, direction, and emotional control. And the man who knows what to share and when to stay silent is the man who keeps her interest long after the first date is over. Now let me hear from you. What's one thing you believe men should never reveal too early in a relationship? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if you found value in this, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the Stoic Golden Rule, and hit the bell so you never miss another lesson that could change your entire approach to dating and life. Until next time, stay calm, stay sharp, and protect your story.